Welcome into Dallas Mavericks Today. I'm your host, Harrison Graham, ready to answer all of your questions. We put up a community post on our YouTube community tab, so we're ready to answer your questions. And yes, I say we because I will be bringing Jeffrey Cooperstein here in a minute. But let's get to the first question first. We got Oliver Griffin leading us off. How do you think the rotation will be? Example, starters, bench, and what minutes will those players get? Well, you look at what the projected starting five is going to be, Oliver, and that's Luka, Doncic, Spencer Dinwiddie in the backcourt, Reggie Bullock, Dorian Finney-Smith as your wings, and then JaVale McGee expected to start at the five, and then you've got guys like Tim Hardaway, Frank Ntilikina, Christian Wood, Maxi Kleber, Dwight Powell, Josh Green coming off the bench. And Coop, when you look at this, as we can break this down, I think 4 of your 5 starters, not named JaVale McGee, are going to play 30-plus minutes per game. Luka, 35 to 38, maybe similar for Dorian. And then, Bullock and Dinwiddie in that low mid-30s perhaps. And then, JaVale's in that 20 minutes per range. And then Christian Wood will probably give you 25 to 30 off the bench, as will Tim Hardaway potentially.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty tight rotation. I think you'll have Wood and Hardaway coming off the bench. And then outside of that, it'll kind of be a night-to-night basis on who plays.
Kleber will play a decent amount.
Kleber will get about 20 to 25. And then some nights you might have more Josh Green. Some nights you'd have more Dwight Powell. Maybe Jaden Hardy gets into the mix if they're in desperate need of another guard to play.
Yep.
So there's, I would say, a lot of fluidity with the lineup, but at the same time, you know who your main 7 are, and those guys are going to get the vast majority of the minutes.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I continue to maintain, I think that Christian Wood will get more minutes than JaVale McGee, but they're going to start with that defensive lineup, and Wood can play the 4 or the 5. So we'll see how it plays out, but that's how Coop and I see it as of now. Let's go to Leon next here. Why would we not go after Crowder and Clarkson? 2 awesome acquisitions and would fill the holes. Well, number one, we don't know if there's been interest or not from Dallas. Just because a trade hasn't happened doesn't mean there's been a lack of trying from Nico Harrison in the front office. It's hard to say for sure. I know these are 2 players I would be very interested in here. Coop. Clarkson could get you another guy, not really a point guard, but a guy that can handle the ball a little bit and certainly score. And then Jae Crowder, who we talked about the other day, good 3-and-D vet, can guard multiple positions. I think both these guys would help this team tremendously.
Yeah, absolutely. Clarkson, more of the guy who's going to bring the firepower and score in droves. I mean, he's a guy who can get hot really quick and get you 30 off the bench any given night.
Yep.
He's not going to play any defense like Jae Crowder will, but I think either of these guys would help the Mavs tremendously. And I think, if they don't get traded by the beginning of the season, maybe you explore this again in early February when the trade deadline comes. So I think it's definitely a possibility that the Mavs explore at least one of these. I'm not sure if they have the assets to get Clarkson, because I think Clarkson probably takes a little bit more than Crowder.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably at least giving up a first plus a player for Jordan Clarkson. We'll ask you guys, and then we'll weigh in as well. Who would you rather have? And type 99 for Jae Crowder, he wears 99. Jordan Clarkson wears 00, type 00. Who would you guys rather have? I think ideally Clarkson, because he can handle some of that ball handling duty, but Crowder's probably cheaper. Coop, what do you think on this one?
Yeah, I think I would take Clarkson as well. Crowder's obviously been here before, even though it was almost 10 years ago. Imagine that. But I think Clarkson's probably a slightly better fit. He's not a true point guard, but he can probably do a little bit more of what the Mavs' immediate need is right now.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So 99 for Crowder, 00 for Clarkson. Let's go to Adam's question here. Adam asks, how far can the Mavericks go this year? I know the expectation, but really how far can they go? I would say right now the ceiling is probably what they did last year, and that's making the conference finals because, Coop and I have talked about this a lot. You lose Brunson, which is obviously a notable loss. You add Christian Wood and McGee, so your front court gets better. But, I mean, at best, you're probably about the same on paper. Now, that could change. Let's see how these pieces come together. So I think the ceiling is probably make the conference finals again. More realistic, probably second round type of team. I think that's where this team is right now.
Yeah, I would be surprised if this team made the conference finals again. Do I think they can win a playoff series? Definitely. I'm just not sure they have the firepower offensively to be able to compete in the Western Conference. Look, the West got a lot better. Kawhi Leonard's coming back. The Lakers, you can never count them out with Anthony Davis and LeBron James.
Yeah.
So I think the West gets a lot better, and I don't think the Mavs necessarily got better as a team. They're differently constructed with the addition of Christian Wood and the departure of Jalen Brunson, but at the end of the day, I think, and someone made a good point, I wish I could remember who it was and I'd give them credit, but at the end of the day, it is a guards and wings league, and the Mavs lost a premier guard, and I think that's going to hurt them in the long run.
I mean, look, Dinwiddie's got to take another step. I mean, that's really what it's going to come down to. If he's kind of that inconsistent guard we saw in the playoffs, then I don't know. I mean, I definitely think it's a playoff team, but I don't know about winning 2 playoff series. Will the Mavs get back to the conference finals? What do you guys think? Type Y for yes, type in for no. Obviously, when you have number 77, you're always going to have a chance. But if you had to guess right now, will the Mavs be in the Western Conference Finals? Y for yes and for no. I would say no, but I also think this is a team that could make a trade between now and the trade deadline that could bolster this unit. So we'll have to wait and see. Go to BetUS if you want to bet on NFL games this weekend. Cowboys Monday Night Football if you want to go bet on them. Also, you can bet on some NBA games when the NBA season is here. Go to chatsports.com/MFFL, promo code MFFL. That'll get you a 125% deposit bonus. Basically a pick 'em on Monday night. Cowboys, as of now, 1-point underdog, over under 39 points. So are our friends at BetUS expecting a low-scoring affair? Should be an interesting one. If you feel strongly one way or the other, create an account with BetUS and make some money. Chatsports.com/MFFL. Promo code is MFFL. All right, let's go to the Kang here. Who are some realistic backcourt targets for the Mavs at this point? Do they even make a move before the trade deadline? Obviously, Dennis Schroeder's off the board. He has gone to the Lakers. You look at some of the guys who are available. I mean, it's thin pickings, right? Like, you're not getting a huge contributor. Now, do I think DJ Augustine could eat 10 to 15 minutes per game here? Probably, because you don't really have a third point guard right now behind Luka and Dinwiddie, and if they're both going to start, I don't think they can eat up 48 minutes of point guard time. Eric Bledsoe I would have some interest in. Elfrid Payton's a good defender, but he's not really a floor general. It's kind of thin at this point, Coop.
Yeah, I think it's either now or never. They're either going to make a move before the season starts or at the trade deadline in February when something pops up. Like you said, the free agent market, not exactly the most robust options out there. I think I would rather take J.J. Barea than all those guys just mentioned. He's been retired for 2 years. So.
And by the way, Kemba still has not been bought out by Detroit, I don't believe.
No, I don't believe he has.
So he's not even out there.
We don't know what's going on there, and Detroit obviously made the big trade today with Bojan Bogdanovic. So who knows what's going on in Detroit.
Should this team have signed Dragic? I don't know how much he has left, but
I think the Mavs made the right move in not signing Dragic, and it's because I think they saw last year that he didn't have much left in the tank, and now, especially, and it worked out for Dragic as well because Lonzo is hurt, and
he's going to play a lot there.
Yeah, he's gonna get a lot of minutes there, so they have a role for him while the Mavs probably didn't have a role.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens there. Maybe Jaden Hardy is someone that gets minutes sooner rather than later. The second-round pick, who of course played for the G League Ignite. Appreciate all the questions, and if you appreciate our shows, then hit that subscribe button here at Dallas Mavericks Today. We will continue to have you guys covered. The road to 20,000 subs is here. We're like 200 away. Help us out. Media Days on Monday. We'll have some news and notes coming out of that, so stay tuned, subscribe. The latest coverage here on your Mavs is basketball is going to be back before we know it. All right, Dravos 540. Can Tim Hardaway Jr. go back to last year? Talking about 2 seasons ago when the Mavs lost to the Clippers for the second season in a row. Probably the best, most efficient season of his career. So you see the numbers from Dravos. That was 2 seasons ago. Last year, kind of dipped a bit. Then, of course, he got hurt. 14 points, just under 40% from the field, 33.5% from 3. I don't know if he'll get back to being a 17-point guy and almost 40% from 3, but can you split the difference? Can he be like 15 points per game and like 37% from 3? If Hardaway gives me that off the bench, Coop, I think that's plenty good for a guy who's not even going to start for this team.
And they're going to need him to take a step because of the loss of Jalen Brunson and what they lost on the offensive end with him. So yeah, they're going to have to get back to old Tim before that injury where. And he's one of those guys too, kind of like Clarkson on any given night. He can get you 30. He just gets in that zone, and once you see the first one going with him, it's going to be a good night.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see if he can get back to that level. Who knows? Maybe he's a 6th man of the year type of candidate. All right, we've got Zoe here with a question. Who's going to be the legit ball handler, point guard to play off the bench for Dallas as a sub for Luka? I mean, that's the question, right? I mean, they're going to stagger Luka and Dinwiddie some, but I still think there's going to be minutes accounted for where they're both not in the basketball game here, Coop. So who is that? Is there not a true point guard at those times? Is it Jaden Hardy? Is it Ntilikina? I would say Ntilikina is the early favorite, but he's not really a point guard, so it's going to be interesting. I think Jason Kidd's going to get peppered with this on Monday on what that looks like early on here.
I think Frank is the early front runner, but I think their goal is going to be to stagger Luka and Dinwiddie as much as possible. They'll play in the beginning, they'll play at the end, and then in the middle they'll try to stagger those minutes so they can have one of those guys on the floor as much as they can, because after that you're looking at Jaden Hardy not ready to play, Spencer Dinwiddie,
Frank Ntilikina,
thank you, and then Tim Hardaway, who's not a real point guard. So you don't have many options there.
I just think you're playing a dangerous game here by doing this, and this is why Coop and I have said for months you need to go get another ball handler because
they have a roster spot. There's one open.
Because A, covering 48 minutes off with just those two is going to be difficult, and B, what if an injury pops up? Then you're really screwed. Like, Luka's not going to play 82 games, guys.
No,
he's never going to be that guy. Like, he's going to miss 10 games at least.
They might take some load managing liberties with him here and there on a back-to-back, or if they're on a long road trip, they give him a night off. So they're going to have to find minutes somewhere, and I don't think they're going to rely on Jaden Hardy to play 25 minutes a night.
Not early on. I can't imagine that's going to be the case. But we'll see. Hopefully I have more answers on Monday. Appreciate all the questions on today's Mailbag. Coop, everyone that makes it this far on the show, that makes them a real one.
Absolutely.
They know what the deal is.
You guys are the best. Type real one
Type
down below in the
real one.
comments.
Get the MFFLs going. Let's go. We'll do more of these mailbags. We'll work those in time and time here so you guys can get involved in the show. He's Jeffrey Cooperstein. I'm Harrison Graham. Appreciate you guys for sending in your questions. We'll see you next time here on Mavericks Today.